Well, hey everybody, I am in the car. This is Roger Keyserling. This is another live streaming daily with Roger Keyserling. Used to be the live daily show on Facebook with Roger Keyserling, but now I'm using multi-streaming, so it's just live daily all over the place. This Thursday is my show at 7 p.m. on YouTube. It's still, again, streams everywhere, but I need everyone to go to YouTube on Thursday. It's a little hot in the car. I'm running out, leaving the house a little bit late. We have one more part to get, which is paid for. I just have to go pick it up. They had to order it. So I'm going to do that on my way either in or back from the hospital this morning. I am going to the hospital today, not a doctor's visit. I was hoping I could just get away with a doctor's visit, but they need me to check in. I think they're going to do a drip while I'm there on top of the one I have to bring home. I've been on a very low-grade drip, or low-level drip. Oh, man. I got a brand new phone mount. I like it, but it jiggles. Only on gravel. On the regular street, it's not so bad. But it holds it in place. It just jiggles a little bit. I've got to try to figure out how to get one that doesn't. What I need is that little handheld thing that no matter how you hold the camera, it stays on your face, it stays level. Those are like $50. And then even after I get that, I have to figure out a way to mount it in my car. But I'm looking at that. I really have to have a better mounting system. This one works. This one's better than the old one. The old one used to fall off. This one won't fall off, but it does tend to jiggle. Like when I hit the black potholes and stuff, the black top, it's okay, but on the gravel, it's pretty bad. All right, so I've been doing a lot of videos. I was on quite a bit yesterday, so I'm not going to be on too long today. But I've been talking mostly about eBay, so I'm not going to talk about that today. I've been talking about websites, so I'm not going to talk about that today, because I've been talking about those topics pretty heavy, because that's what I work on. You'll notice a lot of times my videos tend to, my live streams at least, tend to be, a lot of times I'll talk about a topic that I'm working on. I might not actually talk exactly what I'm working on, but it's in my head. So that's what I'm talking about a lot. I look pretty bad today. I had a shower yesterday afternoon after I got back, but I didn't get one this morning. I didn't sleep until 4 o'clock, so I'm a little tired. So I'm not as perky as normal. I don't have the dogs with me. I don't have my employee with me, which is very nice. Probably can't hear me very well. Let me at least close this windows up a little bit. It's extremely hot until I get my hair, which I'll have. I'm really upset my employee didn't come, actually, because he could have popped that one little part goes under the dash. I mean, it's that easy. He could have popped that little part in today, and I'd be coming home in the air conditioning. And that I'm really concerned because I'm leaving very late. So if it gets over a certain temperature with a certain humidity, my lungs fill up with fluid. I might not be all sweaty or hot even, but if it's just the right temperature and humidity, and humidity's high today, then my lungs fill up. So my foot wound, which I'm also going to have looked at while I'm there, it's better. It's better. I have. It hurts more today, so that's because probably the nerves are coming back. I still have one little tag of skin that I think probably needs to be removed. They'll probably do that today. The only reason is there was a place where it had started to heal, but it blistered over and popped, and that skin did not reattach. So, but it's not too awful. I can actually look at it without getting sick to my stomach. I'm talking about my foot. You know, resellers, you got to be careful with that crystal. Even if it's a high-quality crystal base, I was just simply, it was etched. So I was just simply there with a soft rub. I don't know if you know what that is. It looks like a toothbrush, but it's got a little foamy, cottony thing on the end that you use it to rub. It's like a toothbrush, but it doesn't have bristles. I was using a soft rub, which is very delicate, actually. And I was just simply rubbing it back and forth, cleaning off any little dust in the little grooves. I was just about ready to photograph it. Sure enough, I just rubbed on this one little area, and the whole thing just shattered into pieces. I was like, this must have been defective. Because, you know, lead crystal, if it's not quite right, it will shatter very easy. And I don't know how this vase survived all these years, because I've had it for years and years and years. but it shattered just right there in my hands. Well, no big deal. I didn't even get cut on my hands. All these pieces of glass fell, so I picked them up, but I missed a couple. And they just happened to get me right at the wrong spot. So I've been going back a lot for that. And then today I was supposed to just go to a doctor's office visit because they were just going to clean my foot. But they're going to have to go into my lung for something. I'm not sure what. I don't even have too bad of lungs. I am getting a drain today, but no. Just because I'm there, not because I absolutely have to do it. Well, they've already got the tubes in me. They might as well just shove another one. So I'm going to go get a little bit of a drain today, but it's not critical. So I'm getting that done today, this morning. I went up last night to get into the... they have a thing like, with AARP and Humana Health, that if you're old as dirt like myself, you can get and go to like these little classes. Well, I drove all the way up to the hospital, facility that I go to sometimes, because I know they had the program there last night. Well, I get there and I was ready to go. I was ready to jump in the pool because it was pool night. That's why I wanted to go. Well, I get there. I'm walking through. I haven't even gone to the locker room or anything. Walking through, and there's old people like myself in there. But as I'm walking by, I walk by and I look down and I see this little yellow puddle come up there. So I rethought getting into the pool and I didn't do it. I did get out. I did go onto some of the weight equipment and work out a little bit, but I didn't actually go with everybody else and do the little class thing. So I'm not going to be doing those classes. And I don't think I'll be swimming in that pool either. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's just, I just don't want to be in the water with the urine. So I decided not to do the swim thing last night, which was disappointing because I really wanted to go swimming. But instead, I just worked out on some weights for a little bit. Once a week, I'm supposed to go and do that, but I probably won't. I'm too busy. But I wanted to try last night, but I changed my mind after I got there. I enjoyed going up there, though, because it's a facility that I can get treated at, but I very rarely go to. But I know everybody at it. Everybody. And a lot of doctors and nurses go there, actually. Old ones like myself. Retired ones. A lot of the retired nurses and doctors I know were there. They didn't get in the pool either. Actually, it was very funny. When I was ready to leave, the nurse comes out and says, I noticed you didn't get in the pool. And I said, well, I walked by the pool and there was a little yellow flow coming up. She goes, yeah, that one patient we have a problem. They're pretty much incontinent, so they get in the water, it happens. I said, well, yeah, normally I wouldn't even think twice about it, but just something about it when I saw it, first thing I saw when I walked in, I was like, I don't think I'll do the pool today. But I did do the weights, and it was all right. But I'll probably eventually go back and do it. Oh, goodness. I am here at my mom's. I'm going to run in really quick. Let me park over here. Boy, I have to park way far away. My foot hurts, so it might take me just a moment to walk in. Mom's expecting me. I don't have my employee today. All right. Well, we're on the edge of signal, so this is going to be very choppy, guys. While I do this. Okay. Go back. Come on, go back. All right. I will be right back. I will be back in just a moment, guys. That's my favorite plant.
And there's so much rain this year that really.
Yeah, because last year they were kind of thin.
Yeah, that's definitely happening.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a picture of that tomorrow. I was gonna hobble back to the car and get the camera, but I'm on video. Okay, Mom, I'll see you later. I hopefully won't go tomorrow, but I don't know. All right. Goodness me, oh my. That wasn't too long of a wait, guys. I've got a few things I get to show you, which are pretty freaking awesome, personally, if you ask me. First, let me get that little image out of the way. I will eventually get fast at this. I will figure out a faster way to do this. But until then, you have to wait for my little packet on the phone. Man, it's going to be a scorcher. I'm going to have serious problems with my lungs today. It's really humid. And I can already tell I'm already moist in the nostrils. That's the first time I'm going to get a lot of fluid. I have a feeling I'm going to get fluid. It's always after the rain. I mean, most people think that I'm going to get sick, when it's raining. No. It's after the rain when the heat starts and it turns into vapor again. Very sick sometimes. I used to have a mask that I wore that would regulate the moisture levels and stuff. It was too uncomfortable and it didn't do a very good job. All right, well, let me show you what I did. I was over at my mom's. She gave me 3 little loaves, little muffin loaves, I guess we call them, of banana bread that she made. And this is what I'm really looking forward to using. And homemade molasses wheat bread, which is actually very good. She uses a little bit of molasses in it. But molasses wheat bread. Thin sliced even with her little machine, because I do it, it crumbles up. But we're going to have some really good sandwiches today. So I'll have to buy something to go with the sandwiches, because I don't think we have any sandwich meat. By the way, I'm going to fill everyone in. If you guys are watching my video yesterday, we went and we bought a whole bunch of freshwater shrimp. Big ones, the ones you grill. Well, they're pretty expensive. Well, my employee didn't grill them. He cooked them. They don't taste good cooked. You have to grill them because they're freshwater fish have a very gamey, fishy, shrimpy flavor. Not like saltwater. Saltwater, you can just blanch them for a second and they taste good. Freshwater, you really need to grill them because they need that flavor, the cooking flavor, to cover up some of the fishy flavor. So we made all of them, cooked them all, 4 pounds of them. We cooked them all up, and then we cooked them all up, and then we tried to eat them. Well, he didn't grill them, so I didn't like the flavor. They were too strong. So what we did, of course, not going to waste them. Very expensive. So what I did is I said, well, you know what? Why don't we just get me some linguine and some Alfredo sauce, and I'll chop them up and I'll throw them in that. So actually, it was quite good that way. But I was really upset because the purpose we bought those for was to put them on a great big skewer with bell pepper and onion and all that, and actually grill them, because they're actually delicious grilled. But if you don't cook them on the flame or boil them, they're just too fishy, too gamey tasting. So I didn't particularly enjoy them until we used them as an ingredient. Then they were fine. They're ginormous. I mean, really big. It feels very odd not to have the dogs in here jumping around. Oh, let's see if I can read this. Hold on, I'll take my glasses off and stick my face directly in the camera once we get to the stop sign. I can almost read it, but there's a glare, so I'm still gonna have a hard time reading that. Lemonade. Homemade. Yeah, I love homemade bread. I can see the little pictures. Yeah, I love the homemade bread, guys. My mom makes it really well, too. Come on, people. What a slow ass. Sorry. This guy driving just as slow as he can in the busiest intersection in town. If I didn't zip, I would have been sitting there for 10 minutes. All right, boy, it is hot, hot, hot. I'm gonna have to put these windows down a little bit. I am running to get that part. It's already paid for. It's already there. I got the receipt. My employee was with me today. He could have put it in the car. So there's really no reason for me to get it on the way in. I'll probably get it on the way back because I'm not gonna be able to put it in myself. I don't know exactly how it goes in. He has some special screws. He said you have to use these just this way. I don't want to mess with it. So I am going to get the air conditioning part, and so by tomorrow we'll have air. Let me think what else. I may be having a little bit of issue with the IRS. Listen to this. I submitted my forms and everything, and I got my extension. I got the verification on the extension, but it seems like a very, very long time for me to be waiting for a very simple filing this year. And I haven't heard anything. So I'm a little concerned with my tax office. I know they filed the extension. You should get an email verification of that. But I don't know how that extension runs to. And I don't know what they're filing. I don't know if it's just this year, if they have amendments for last year, or what they've got to do. Because last year I had to do a bunch of amendments for the year before. And I bet you that's going to happen this year, because this year wasn't horrible until, fourth quarter, really, compared to what it should have been. But really, the accounting for it is very simple. I do have a few little tricks in there. I call them tricks. They're actually legitimate, but I call them tricks. Anything that saves you money, I call a trick on taxes. It's not actually an accurate word. I have a few deductions in there that are ones that I normally don't file. I had a lot of losses this year for returns. Now that's filed always, but when they mail an item back and it's supposed to be returned in the condition new, but you get it back, they get a refund, but then the item has to be disposed. You better document that pretty well. The IRS says, hey, eBay says that they mailed the item back to you, so why didn't you resell it? Well, because it came back used and broken and incomplete, or they mailed an empty envelope back. Well, the IRS doesn't think twice about that if you have a very small percentage. But 90% of my returns filed don't either come back or come back wrong. So all that had to be documented. Otherwise, because I'm claiming all of them, I'm not leaving some off because of the cap. So that's a little bit of a nightmare. Hold on, guys. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see my dirty dash. I need to get a nose blowing image when I have to blow my nose. And I need to find a way to make that I'll be right back pop open and close very quickly. Because nobody wants to wait for 5 minutes while I'm looking for the buttons. My employee wants to make a little tiny miniature scene to glue on my dash. I think I've been telling him that's kind of stupid. But you know what? I may just let him do it. At Christmas, because we have these little tiny miniatures, I have tens of thousands of them. No, not tens of them. I have thousands of them that I've never listed for sale. I mean, I never even bothered. I got a whole bunch of them, eBay changed. I was stick them in the warehouse. I've got at least 1,000 different types. And they're very, very tiny. Little tiny miniatures. So all you would have to do is take a little piece of cardboard. That's the side that's just too loud. All he has to do is take a little piece of cardboard, put some of that fake snow on, or spray can of fake snow, and put the little miniatures and make it like a little Christmas scene. So, you know what? If you really... So there will be a little Christmas scene that I'll use for I'll be right back. One of the little gnomes is going to hold the sign and say, I'll be right back. So, because I have that actually. So he's going to make a little scene for Christmas, so I won't have to use my image. It takes me forever to get. All I have to do is turn the camera around. So I think that might be kind of fun. Choppiness. We're going to address choppiness. My streaming videos, while I'm driving down the road, the choppiness is entirely how I'm uplinking the Wi-Fi signal and strength. There's not a setting, there's not a thing that I have wrong, or anything that I can change to improve how it is without paying for an upgrade. I will be paying for an upgrade, and even that's not going to make hardly any difference. Noticeable difference to me, but not to anyone else probably. So I will pay for an upgrade, but I have to start having my channel generate some money. Everything's coming out of my pocket, and it's not really generating any cash yet, and I don't expect it to. So I will be probably upgrading. I want to upgrade because it allows me to have a custom, kind of like a custom ULR address for all of my live streams. So I can just drop them in all of my sites. I don't have to go and copy this one here and that one there. It's just I get my own restream address, my own domain for it, and my own dedicated server in Chicago, no, Dallas, that I always link into where I'm kind of priority time. Well, I can pay for that and get that, but even that, they said, we can do that, but the performance that you're getting is just about what you're going to get. It might get a little better. So I'm going to push that off a little bit. I did try to add, I've been having a little difficulty getting some of the new networks that I don't know too much about added. There's one in the Soviet Union. I have one over there, but I want to get another one. But I'm having a very difficult time getting it to link in properly. And then there's this one that has a really bad rating, but I want to add it anyway. It's called Smash something, Smash Pod or something. I tried to add it, and it did let me add it, but I couldn't really get their stream to open. So actually, I will test it. This may actually be streaming to those new sites. Also, Mixer, it was not live streaming to. My account was there, but it wasn't live streaming, and I forgot to check before I started my mobile farm. It still might not be live streaming to Mixer because I set it up on the PC, and it doesn't always go over to my mobile. I have to check that after this is over. Boy, I am plugged up. I bet there's more fluid than I think. My lips aren't blue. They're actually a little bit healthier than they were yesterday. I'm going to turn the camera around to the dirty dash again. Guys, there's something about blowing my nose on camera that I just don't like to do. It's bad enough you have to hear me do it, but I don't like people watching me blow my nose. So I'm going to turn the camera around again, but I have no choice. See, I think a little Christmas Village scene that he wants to make there would be pretty cute. I think that would actually be kind of cute. Because he'll do an excellent job. One thing I complain about my employee constantly, he's worked for me for too long. So he's too lazy now. He knows what he can get away with. It took him 20 some odd years to figure it out. I'm actually a fairly good, you never know that I'm actually a very good boss by the way I talk on the video. I mean, I'm demanding and I expect work to be done, but other than that, I'm actually pretty easy to get along with as a boss, because I don't go over the top. You see me griping all the time in the car because I've just about had it, but actually, when we're actually, brass tacks, when we're actually working, I'm very easy to get along with. Everything's so organized. You don't ever have to wonder what to do. You just look at the chart. Oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. And then I give directions on everything. So I'm actually fairly easy to work for. But I am very strict about time schedule. Nothing bothers me more than wasted time. Nothing. All right, so my podcasts are doing all right. I need everyone to listen to my podcast. That's actually what pays for everything else. So that is Ecom Tips. Ecom Tips. It's got a little atom kind of looking symbol and a couple guys and a little rainbow in the background. It says Ecom Tips Podcast on it. I am on every network, so I don't need to give you an address. Any site you're on, even in the Himalaya. You can even go to the Himalaya podcast site, and I am on it. So you won't have any trouble finding me. Just type Ecom Tips Podcast, and you can find it. Now, some sites like to import from the feed. I'm not going to name off the feed, but you can grab the feed at Ecom Tips Podcast. You can go to Anchor. I don't know if I have any voice messages in Anchor. I did a couple. I had a couple people send me audio files. I need audio files with questions. Now, the audio files I get with questions on the podcast may actually have a little video made and then used in my show, because I can very easily take the audio file, create a little video without sound to play, and then have the audio file. Like if they're asking about, let's say they're asking about eBay, I can have little images of eBay Corporation zip by while they're asking about it. In other words, it's a way for me to use the audio files I get in my podcast and include them in video. Also, anyone that asks a question on my podcast will then know that they can be featured in the Thursday show. So you kind of get a double whammy for that. If you would like to add any videos to my either YouTube show or my podcast, you're more than welcome to do that. If you want me to run a series for you, I will not do that. That requires entirely too much time. Then I would have to be splitting my sponsorships. For what? So I can put out a bunch of information that builds up another business in my system. I'm not going to do that. But if you want to include anything that you have in any show, I'm more than happy to consider it, and you will get the video views that you want. You might not get the YouTube subscriber views like some of the other shows, because I'm new there, but in my streams alone, you will get thousands of views. So I'm willing to do that. I will always take things from my podcast and try to include them in my show, my Thursday show. When I see support for my Thursday show, the people that begin to support my Thursday show are the ones that I'm going to make sure get the benefits of all of my experience, traffic, and finances. Because trust me, when I begin to do this thing on a regular basis, which is not this week, but next week, running big ads and everything, instead of just a couple thousand people eventually seeing the show, it'll be tens of thousands of people. So I will put big bucks into ads when I'm going to launch this. So if you want to be part of that and get some of that free traffic, more than happy to include your content, because normally I consider content something you give away to help your business get exposure and to help the viewers that you give it to. I don't give away content to put my hand out asking for money afterwards. So if you want to have your stuff in my shows or whatever, that is not a problem. I'm glad to do that. If you want a kickback for that, then you need to do the work yourself. I'm not going to give away money for someone doing nothing to help their business. Because I don't need content, guys. I have tons. And I can get it from anywhere I want, directly from companies, whatever. As a matter of fact, I didn't want to spill the beans too much, but I have actually a corporate video that I'll be playing in my premiere. Rather impressive one, actually. So I will have corporate sponsorship in my show. Not the normal ones that most people see, but some pretty major corporations are going to sponsor my show. So I don't want to burn my bridges before they happen, so I will announce all that later. Actually, there's not going to be an announcement. There'll be the premiere show, and then if I have it all set up, it'll be in the middle. If it's not all set up, a different video will be in the middle. And then when it is set up, then it'll just be in the middle, and then after the video, then I'll announce, okay, by the way, we got sponsored by so-and-so. So I will be doing that. But I'm not going to make a big deal about the corporate sponsorship thing until I actually have more viewers and more traffic. This is all in setup stage, guys. I'm doing this very backwards. I shouldn't have even began to do a show for 6 months. But I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is pretty simple. So I decided, well, I can figure all this out in a couple of days. So I decided to go ahead and do the show. And, my first week was kind of messed up. The second week went off okay. This week should go off without a hitch. And then by the next week, that's my premiere. So I'm really looking forward to my Thursday shows. I do stream live all the time. I can see comments coming in, but I don't want to stick my face up there. Hold on. There's no one around. Okay, hold on. Performance reviews. I can't really read all those words. I'm sorry. Performance reviews. I'll have to read this after a comment. Sorry, guys. In the morning, it is extremely hard for me to see the screen. The print is very tiny, and I am driving. And the sun, if it's glaring, like if I do that, I can't see it at all. But with the wheels on there, I can only read where the wheel is. So I only get a word or two in the mornings. Idiot. Bad driver. All right, so yeah, I'm looking forward to all this stuff. It really is taking off without me really doing much. I'll be very honest with you. The reason I'm starting kind of my marketing in the UK for this is because all I had to do was mention I was going to do a show, and we'd love to interview again. Well, I've been interviewed on a couple of them before, but we'd love to interview. We'll give you plugs in my show. People I barely communicate are jumping out of the woodwork to help me. But the people that I talk to all the time, not so much. And then, even that, with the people that are trying to help, they've got their hand out wanting something, which that is something I don't like, because I never put my hand out. I never put my hand out. If I give away something, that's for you to use. Get what you can out of it. I don't give you something and then come back and ask you, if I give you more something, can I get paid? So, yeah, I'm a little disappointed in that. But, neither here nor there. So, I'm not going to do a lot of give me money when I'm on the videos. You know, I all of them do. They always say, sponsor this, sponsor that. And you should do that. That's how you generate money. But this is a question and answer show. People that are coming in there have questions they want answers. So I'm going to do that. There won't be any major, donate to here kind of stuff in my videos. I might mention it once because there's multi-stream linking that goes out. Should have the link in it that you can go to Streamlabs and donate. So I probably will mention it once in the show. I have the Patreon thing set up, but I'm not going to add it. Not now. I need to have much more volume and stuff before I start saying, hey, give me money. So I will eventually add them. So right for now, the way that these, the YouTube show at least, will generate me some funds to make it worth my time to do, is the little bit of a marketing boost I get to my apps and my website. So I will be putting a little ad for the Recipes for You app, which, of course, again, none of these are paid, but it gets good traffic to myself and to other people. So basically, each show will have a Recipes for You app in there, ad. Each show will have an ad because I build websites. Each show will have an ad where I build the websites. And each show will have, there'll be 3 ads. Each show will have an ad to buy from either keywebco.com or one of my other things. Though that one I will rotate. And the ads aren't all up in your face. They're just little slideshows that I talk through, little videos that I talk through, and just tell you what you get for free and where to go to get it. Very basic stuff. I want to do some pre-recorded stuff and put it in my show. I want to do some interviews and stuff too. I figured that out yesterday. How to do it on my show. Not hard. But for now, I'm not sure how much content I want to actually pull from other sites. I know that there's a private group, an elite group, which I don't like to be in elitist groups, but this is an elitist group, that has meetings every week. And I'm normally invited. Every once in a while they forget, but I'm normally invited. And we get to record. Anyone that's allowed to be in the meetings is allowed to record them. They're not for public distribution, unless you tell them during the meeting, I would like to record our next sessions for a podcast or for an article I'm doing. And then everyone says yes or no, yay or nay. There's a little vote button. Everyone votes, and if you get positives, then all the restricted stuff is removed, and then we start the recording. I am very tempted to record a section of the meeting that is happening this week, because the meeting this week is actually quite cool. The meeting this week is going to be motorcycle cop in a speed trap, and I was going 1 mile over the limit, and I saw him kind of getting on his feet. I bet people are passing me, so if he is coming, hopefully he ain't coming for me. I don't like getting pulled over because I know them all. Well, he's going after somebody. I just hope it ain't me. All right, guys. Nah, he would have pulled me over by now. And he's still too far back. Now, if he was coming for me, he'd already be on me by now. I think I know that motorcycle cop. All right, so I was going 1 mile over the speed limit, so I slowed down. All right, so yeah, the video things, I want to include stuff, but I don't want it to be I don't want it to be cross purposes. In other words, you know, a lot of people will do a show and then they'll have some big shot that they put in there, and they try to add them to their show to be part of their domain. Well, I don't really like to do that. I don't like to put other content in my streams because I really don't like to. I don't mind doing it, but I don't really like it because it can confuse people. For example, I actually had an article that I did in my blog. I took it down. And there was a friend of mine that was selling vintage dishes. Now, this is a very long time ago. Probably before anyone even really knew me that well. But they were selling vintage dishes. And they were not name brand. They were generic brand. So I said, well, since you've got this generic brand dishes, why don't I add a link to one of your dish sets in my blog? Pick one that I don't have. And everyone she would send would be a set that I also had. So finally I said, you know, I'll just put a link to your store. Because I needed an item I wanted to put in. I didn't want to put a link to the store, I wanted to put an item. But I ended up having to put a link to the store. Because I could never get them to authorize me to use a photo that was different than the one that they had actually stolen from me. But I needed their content because I'd already written a great big old thing in the blog about it, and it was already published before I was putting the links in. I don't do that anymore. Well, I finally got the article, and I had to put a link to the whole store because I didn't have authorization for the individual item. Then I go and I look at my comments on the blog, and the person is trying to undersell my own items. They were going in and in the comments of my blog, not their blog that they copied, but my blog, they'd write, oh, you see this item at Key Webco? I can give you that a couple bucks less. Just send me a message in my comments. Well, that raised a red flag to me. If anyone, you're willing to give them exposure, and then the exposure you give them, they're willing to try to rip you off at the same time. So I'm very cautious what other people's content I put in my sites because, you know, they give you something and then they want something in return. Okay, well, that's fine. That's called fair trade. But I don't need it. So I'm not going to do that. I have to be very careful because a lot of people that want to be in my show, I'll go ahead. I'm not going to spill the name, but you guys wouldn't be hard to figure out. I know a big shot that makes a really large app that lots of people use. Not going to name it directly, but it won't be hard to figure out. It's a photo kind of app, a video app. And lots of people use it. I don't because it's old tech to me. I use much more advanced stuff. Well, but I have no problems promoting their business because they do very well with it. A lot of people are very happy with the tech as is. Well, I would love, they've asked me 6 times already. I want to be interviewed. I want you to talk about the apps. People know about the apps you make. I want to show them what a really good app looks like, which is fine because, you know, I don't professionally make apps. I make ones that work and they're good and they work. They're not professional apps. I have a few professional ones I make. So this app builder wants me to interview him in a show, which would be fantastic because he doesn't do interviews. Very rarely. Very rarely. Did an interview in an Ecom Lab show he did once. I think that's the last interview he did, and that's years ago. And he's asked all the time. But he found out I was doing a show, and he was trying to be magnanimous and which is great, and I'm going to do it. But I'm very concerned about doing that at a large level because, once you start advertising other people's products or other people's shows or other people's blogs or businesses within your business structure, you're accepting responsibility for the content of those other people's sites. Now, there's not a problem with anyone that I would be including. But again, that's a huge commitment to put the content from another business in your business. Let's say they go broke and they decide, oh, well, I think I'll just fill 500 orders by not shipping them out and keep the money and close my business. People do it all the time. So you have to be sure that the person that's content you're going to put in there is not going to do some funky change or change the source data for your content or something. You lose power of your own business when you share it. That's why, like my friend Linda, that does the Recipes for You group. She also does WordPress sites. I've got links to buy her WordPress site set prominently, video even. Do it. If you need WordPress, I'm not going to do it for you. Go here. This is a great deal. I'm promoting leaving my business to go to her business if that's what you're looking for. She's doing the exact same thing for me. She has a link in there. If you don't need WordPress, check out Roger. You can get a great site. It's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Because a lot of people don't need the WordPress. WordPress is a big commitment, guys. It's a lot of work. What I set up for you, I do all the work. I turn it over. It's yours to run, and it's free. Or very inexpensive if you go pro. So, and I teach you everything you need to know, and it's really easy because I do it all for you, and then all you have to do is maintain it. That's an easy peasy. I need a website. Boom, I've got one running in a day. Oh, I better be in there, write a blog once a week. Boom, you're good to go. WordPress is a much bigger commitment. It requires a much more complicated and advanced knowledge base. So, I don't want to mess with that. I don't have time, actually. It's not that I can't do it. I do an excellent job. But I don't have time for it. So I'm doing the sites that I do have time for and that I can make very quickly because I've been doing it for years. I'm more clunky on WordPress, so I wouldn't want to do a WordPress site. So I want to send you to a good business. But you know what? Before I ever would have put Linda in my business, we've had over a year's, way over years, experience with each other, working together, and well over years, many, many years, knowing of each other, and a couple years knowing each other pretty well, real well. So I know that that business is not one that I have to worry about the quality of the work that's going to be produced now and in the future. So I have no problems at all adding businesses like that to my site, and they don't ask for anything in return. The only thing I said, well, if I put my link in yours, you put vice versa. Oh, of course. Just a given. Wouldn't even need to ask. But I didn't get, if I put yours in there, I'm going to put a tracking link and I want a percentage of any sales you might get off of it. Why would I do something like that? Why would I have my hand out by enriching my own website, by allowing my customers to go to another seller that I know for a service that is more apropos for my customer? Why would I ever want to put my hand out for that? So I'm being very, very cautious about what I include. Now, there's great content all over the place that I can slap in, but I'm talking about content that I slap in that is actually funneling to another business or another store or another purpose. For example, when I interview someone at HubSpot, the HubSpot is going to talk about their service. But what they're there to talk about is whatever it is I'm interviewing on them, if I'm talking about coding or SEO or Google. So the content of their interview or their content that I'll be adding to my site is directly related to the content that people are in my site to hear. It's not loaded with buy our service, buy our service, buy our service. It's loaded with, oh, by the way, this is the company I represent. You can buy our service here. Then they do the content of the show, and then at the end, I'll give them plugs, and then they should give themselves a little plug as they're signing off. By the way, you can get all this stuff done for you if you sign up for our service. Boom. Tasteful, not tacky, no handout. Give me a kickback for everyone that hears what I have to say. Won't do that. Let me think. What else can I cover today? I'm very, very concerned about what I am seeing on a lot of Facebook groups. Some of them need to go. I hate to say that there are some groups in there that just need to go. There was one, it's not one that everyone knows about or talks about all the time. There was one I hadn't looked at in like 3 years. Used to have so-so information. You could get a baseline lead on what you needed to know, and then they would normally know who else to talk to. But lately, because I just checked on it, it's been a few years, I went in there and I just like every other post was inaccurate. And some of them were just plain old dangerously wrong. And I contacted the admins. I was never an admin of this group. I contacted the administrators of the group. And I said, who's doing this? Why are you not fixing the bad content in your site? And so we've given up. People come in there and will argue and argue and argue. You put the facts in their face and they'll argue till they're blue in the face. They all believe whatever fantasy they want to believe. And all I can think of is, yeah, that's why I'm getting out of it. If you want to engage on Facebook, guys, there are rules of behavior that you should follow. I'm not talking about etiquette and all that, but it's to protect yourself. First thing is, if someone asks a question and you give them an answer and the first reply back is, isn't there an easier way to do it? Or, I don't really believe this, or where did you get your data? You already know that you're wasting your time because that person asking the question has already formulated the answer that they expect. They're not going to hear anything else you say. You can talk until you're blue in the face, you can argue, you can cuss back and forth, you can get banned or ban somebody, and all you're doing is wasting your time and making yourself look bad. Very bad. So don't do that. When someone argues, you say, oh, well, maybe you should read this. This is where I got my content. And never reply again. Because no matter what you write, it's not going to make any difference whatsoever. Just accept that. You are not going to change hearts and minds. You all hear this, change hearts and minds. There's no changing of hearts and minds. You feed what the heart and mind already partially believes, and then you feed it to make that overwhelming. That's how you change hearts and minds. You're not changing anything. That's why hate mongering is such a good political tool. Those people have some deep-sided defect already that they hate different races or whatever. So all they have to do is feed that little tiny bit of hate, a little crumb of something, and then all of a sudden they're believing and worshiping and jumping up and down in the aisles. So we don't want to have any of that. Alrighty, guys. Boy, I hope I don't have high drama, and it looks like I'm going to today. I'm going to let everybody go. I am almost where I need to be, but the people I need to see first, I'm on my way to the hospital. I got to stop by my friends. I don't think they're here. Shit. And I need them to be here before I go in. Damn. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let you go. I will be back probably in about an hour because I've got an hour before the hospital stuff will be over with today. And I'm still, they better hurry. I've only got like 15. No, it's 10 to 10. Oh, I've got 25, 30 minutes before I have to be there. 10:15 is my appointment. 10:30 is when they kind of expect me. Alrighty, guys.